So it's been a while since I've really been uploading consistently on this channel. That more so has to do with me wanting to figure out what content I want on this channel. And I decided I want more astrology stuff. In the time I've been gone, I've been studying a lot to the point where I'm doing readings for people now. So I know quite a bit more than I did prior. So a lot of the information I said before was kind of wrong. Like, I'm just gonna be straight up. I just didn't know. So this video in particular is gonna be about Geminis, because it's Gemini season, I'm a Gemini, and I'm gonna make this a series, and I'm gonna go through all the signs, and I'm gonna do one each season. So we're gonna start with that. So in this video, I'm going to include some experiences that I've had with Geminis, how I feel being a Gemini, and I'm going to start off by telling you just a little bit about them. The Gemini archetype, which is basically what we're talking about, because you're more than your sun sign, so we're only talking about the archetype here. The Gemini archetype is ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of communication, and they love to communicate. We love to communicate, and we love to learn things. I like to describe myself as a jack of all trades, master of none, and I'm sure that a lot of Geminis would identify with that, meaning that we know how to do a lot of things but haven't stuck to something long enough to quite master it. So that's one negative aspect, I guess. I feel like the Geminis that I've met are different from myself just because of my personal placements. I'm a Gemini with a Scorpio moon, so it's a bit different. I'm not as out there. I do have Leo rising, but it's different. So the Geminis that I've seen, they're involved in a lot. They come off as really smart, even if they're not. No shade. They're a bit overly confident, they're quick to anger, and they flip on me pretty easily. If I get flipped on by a Gemini, it's like, sure, I guess that was coming. I've been lied to by Geminis. Actually make it a point not to lie, because I really don't like to be associated with that. But as for my experiences with people, some obviously that I can't talk about, because I'm not trying to drag everyone, you know, but I did date one Gemini, and it seemed like he was smart, and then I found out that he wasn't. Like, he would talk about things like he knew about them, and he really didn't, and I would try to correct him, and he would kind of like just ignore me. Like, he wrote a status about Neil deGrasse Tyson and wrote like Neil deGrasse Tyson, like, I swear to God. He would just say and do ridiculous things. He would have mood swings. He would throw like little temper tantrums. It was just like super lame. Honestly, like, not for me. I know a couple, like, the female Geminis I know, they're pretty cool. I was close to one. I don't know. They just seem to be as unstable as I am. That's all I'm really gonna say about that. A few other Gemini males that I've met, I actually find that they're really cool, but sometimes they can be a bit much, and I have to distance myself. So how I feel, how my energies combine in my Gemini experience, I'll explain my placements pretty much. I'm the sun in Gemini, Leo rising, moon in Scorpio, Mercury in Gemini, Venus in Cancer, and I have Mars in Taurus, Jupiter Scorpio, Saturn in Pisces, and then the rest is Cap, and Scorpio is my Pluto and North Node. So essentially, I have a lot of water in my chart for a Gemini and a lot of earth. I feel like I'm a lot more in my head. I'm very emotional as opposed to other Geminis that I feel can like keep it locked. I'm very much not like that. I'm very sensitive. I do a lot of things. Like, I paint, I make music, I make jewelry sometimes, I make videos, I do makeup now. Like, whatever seems interesting to me, I want to learn how to do it, and I'll learn how to do it. And that's how it's been. Like, I learned how to do my own hair. I learned a lot, like, by myself. And I will admit that some of the things that I've taught myself are not necessary and won't help me in life at all. It's just the sake of knowing things, and I feel like that's a very Gemini thing. Geminis love to know things for the sake of knowing things. Like, I feel like Geminis, if you're like me, are really into trivia, little books that have lists. Like, I like lists. I don't like to read paragraphs. I like points, bullet points, and then if I'm wondering a little bit more, then I want the paragraph. But that's another thing. Sagittarius is our opposite sign, and Sagittarius, they're the ones who want the paragraphs and they don't want the bullet points. So I feel like that's how we differ. They really go deeper into everything. Sagittarius is more likely to master something than a Gemini. Not to say that a Gemini can't master something. We know plenty of Geminis. I actually have some list of famous Geminis in here somewhere. Vic Mensa is a Gemini. Morrissey is a Gemini with a Scorpio moon. Banks, the singer, she's a Gemini. Donald Jones, Justin Love, the singer. Biggie and Tupac. Iggy Azalea, Azalea Banks. Shia LaBeouf. Ice Cube, Zoe Saldana. Angelina Jolie, Helena Bonham Carter. Mark Wahlberg, Clint Eastwood, Chris Pratt, Johnny Depp, Natalie Portman, Morgan Freeman, Dave Franco, Laverne Cox, Lucy Hale, Marilyn Monroe, Mary-Kate and Ashley, which is pretty ironic. So yeah, I mean, I feel like there's some Geminis, like Donald Trump, who are the lower level of Gemini. But, you know, there are some pretty cool Geminis, and I don't think that everyone should hate on them. I know it's like an ongoing joke, but, you know, honestly, like, it's gotten to the point where if I ever tell someone in real life that I'm a Gemini, they're just like, oh. And it's immediate judgment, and I don't appreciate that. So, if you are into astrology, you should keep in mind that people are more than their sun signs, and Gemini inherently is not bad. It all has to do with that kind of person and how they handle things, their energies, their motivations, their goals, you know. Everyone is different. You can have the same exact chart as someone else and be a completely different person. I have so many aspects that are the same with Donald Trump, but I am completely different. So I feel like that's Gemini. This is a really short video, which I'm happy about. And it's not very informative, like going back into the history or anything, because I feel like, I don't know, Canary Quill astrology, she is on point with the details, and Hannah's Elsewhere, is that, I don't even know her name. There are so many good astrologers on here now that honestly I don't want to repeat the same thing that's been said over and over. I just want to share my experience and maybe some things that haven't been said about Gemini already. Also, I would like to add that Geminis do speak their minds, and I feel like that's why it's perceived as shit talking. I know that I've gotten myself into trouble just speaking my mind, and people said, okay, you're shit talking. My justification is, it's not just your story, it's my story too. If you do something to me, I have no obligation to protect you, unless you're my friend, you know what I'm saying? So like, for instance, if someone does me wrong, like violates me, I will put them on blast, because, you know, like, that's a predatory thing to do, you know what I'm saying? But if someone asks me to keep a secret or something like that, I'll take it to the grave, because I don't know. So that's Gemini. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, like this video so I know whether or not to continue the series or to just like trash it. Actually, I don't care how many of you like it. I'm going to continue to make the series, but like this anyways, and subscribe if you want more content and you want to know when I put out my content. I'm also going to be putting covers up on this channel, so look out for those. And enjoy your night. Goodbye.